Welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. Glad you're here. Glad you're here out there listening to us. We truly appreciate it. We actually do. And when I say we, I'm not speaking in the proper English when I say we. I mean that there's more than one of us here in the studio. And the one on the other side of the glass case of emotion, the one who is a little antsy in his pantsy over there, is Jared. Jared is the studio.
I took some SWAT fuel earlier.
Did you take some SWAT fuel? Or
yeah.
You being a little antsy in your pantsy? Did you have your microphone off when you were drumming on the desk?
Yeah, I did earlier.
Oh, good job. Good for you.
But I don't now. I'm drum rolling for your announcement.
My announcement is don't drink out of a straw when you're in front of the black carbon steel microphone. That's my announcement. No, seriously, though. Where are we? We are at the Glass Case of Emotion Studios, located at Student of the Gun University in sunny Biloxi, Mississippi.
Which is in the United States, which is in the world.
That's right.
I mean, I forgot the
Planet Earth.
North America, yeah. I forgot that step.
Northern Hemisphere. The Northern Hemisphere is where Poland is. Poland's not in the Southern Hemisphere.
It's not Peru?
No, it's not Peru.
So Poland and Peru are not the same place?
Neither is Paraguay.
Oh.
Good thing we have these pop filters so we can say Poland and Paraguay and Peru. But welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and for all of you kids and cats and kittens out there who are new this week, if you're new this week, welcome. And, we have a bad habit, Jared and I do, of assuming, and then we're both asses, you and me, that everybody on the other side of the microphone has been here for a while and knows how things are, and we don't need to say things like, watch the show on Roku, Amazon Fire, Full 30, and so forth. Check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, on the mobile app.
We've got 2 YouTube channels. If you guys don't watch those, there's a ton of content on each one. We haven't released anything new lately. I don't think so. At least not on the YouTube channels. On Full 30 we have.
Yeah, full30.com, and that's FULL, the number 30.com.
Yeah.
Amazon Fire and Roku. Roku, I think, is still the biggest app television provider in America. Well, besides Xbox and Netflix. But you can watch Netflix with your Roku player. Go to freaking Walmart, go to whatever your favorite electronics store is, and pick up a Roku player, spend the $39, and cancel your cable and cancel your satellite. Or
just don't cancel Christmas.
Just don't cancel Christmas. And well, as long as you have internet in your house, you can use it. Now, if you don't have internet, well, you're Amish and you're not listening to me right now. But if you do have internet in your house, you can use the Amazon Fire app or the Roku app or the Coming Soon app.
You know what I realized? I realized that some people, if you don't have internet at your house, but you do it at your job, you can take your phone there, you can download the radio show, and then you can take it home and listen.
People do that?
Yeah.
Oh, you sneaky people.
Yep.
You're out there. Or you could go to Starbucks
or
I was just going to say, if you really wanted to use it against them, you could go to Star Wars. I'm still drinking out of my Star Wars cup. I got my Star. You could go to Starbucks, use their complimentary Wi-Fi to download episodes of Student of the Gun Radio onto your phone and then listen to them. Wouldn't that be cool? That would be like, yeah, I know. Well, Gun, forgive me. I have a yawn coming, and I shouldn't have that yawn coming, but I do.
You need some SWAT fuel.
I do need some SWAT fuel. Gun District. I took my 40 cal vitamin though this morning. I took my 40 cal vitamin. It's been a long day so far. It really
you know
has.
what? I'm going to go ahead and this isn't the plan for the fitness tip today. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a lagniappe here.
Aww.
And the SWAT fuel, when you said that, the 40 cal multivitamin, it made me think about this, is a lot of people, if you guys are feeling tired throughout the day, you need to put vitamin D in your body. The lack of vitamin D actually makes you tired. So whatever source you use to get vitamin D, take more of it. And that's as simple as that.
ADEK.
Yeah.
Now, there's B and C, which are water-soluble vitamins, and ADEK, which are fat-soluble, which means they're stored in your fat as opposed to the water in your body. And the reason you need to take B and C every single day is because why? Well, because your body washes it out. A, D, E, and K are stored in your fat. And you say, well, Paul, if they're stored in my fat, then I don't need to take it all the time. Well, what are you doing, though? Are you doing anything active? Are you burning fat? Are you exercising?
You should be.
You should be. I hope you are. I hope you're getting your body fit. That's part of yesterday's discussion about the training season, is we're actually going to carry that over to today, because training season isn't just for guns, and it's not just for bandages and tourniquets. Training season is for everything, including your body. Somebody posted, I forget who it was, but it was one of our fans, somebody on Facebook, and they said, oh, you've got guns, ammo, preps? That's great. How's your cardio? And I thought that was a great thing. He goes, are you going to be able to run from point A to point B, or carry all that stuff that you have from point A to point B? Good question. That is a good question. All right, let's jump right into it. Oh, Gun District. If you're not following us on Gun District, you say, I hate social media, I hate Facebook, I hate Twitter, I hate them all. Okay, congratulations. You hate them all. But there is a pro-Second Amendment, pro-gun social media site, and it's called gundistrict.com. Gundistrict.com. Go there, follow the Student of the Gun page, like us, follow us, member us, thumbs up us, I don't know, whatever it is that you can do it. Check those guys out. All right, today is brought to you by Student of the Gun Radio, brought to you by Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in America, maker of the C39, made in the USA AK. Crossbreed Holsters, makers of the Bruce Jenner Commemorative, also known as the Super Tuck, and the new Freedom Carry holster, the most versatile holster in their lineup. At least that's what they're saying, and they make them, so I'm not going to question them about that. And Frog Lube. Frog Lube, it just works. It's a bio-based, food-grade, green, minty fresh firearms lubricant that also just works. And the great thing about Frog Lube, Jared, I don't know if I mentioned this to you. Did I mention it to you in the car when we were driving back from New Orleans? About how I've got a G-Lock with an optic on it, and it's got an Aimpoint H1 mini red dot on it. And I was a bad boy. I've been shooting this gun, and I have not cleaned it in quite a while. I took the slide off, and I was like, ooh, there's a lot of carbon and funk built up in here. But the cool thing about it was, if you've ever taken a gun apart and you see the carbon, and the carbon is like baked on, and you have to scrape it off, or you get in there and you're like, scrub. I had Frog Lube to that gun before we went to camp 2 years ago. Yes, before we went to camp 2 years ago, I took the gun apart, cleaned it, and Frog Lubed it, and I just now got around to. But when I looked at it, it had carbon in it, but the carbon wasn't baked on. It was kind of like a carbon paste. And you're like, well, that's crap. It was like, no, I was able to wipe it off. Not saying that you can't get any carbon built up on the parts, but it was a pretty quick clean. So I cleaned it up, and I got, all right, I'm going to admit it, a couple of years worth of carbon. I don't shoot that gun all the time, all right? I don't shoot that gun all the time. But I cleaned it up, and I used the Frog Lube solvent, and then I used the Frog Lube. And the reason I'm getting to this point is I realized that when I was spraying on the solvent and then putting on the lube, that I got some of it on the optic. And I thought to myself, boy, it sure is nice not to be using petroleum-based or corrosive solvents or petroleum-based stuff and have to worry about, is that going to mess up my optic? You know, is it going to screw up anything, electronic? Because it won't. It doesn't. Now, that was kind of cool. And that is what brings me to the end of my story about Frog Lube. And bless you over there. Are you?
I was going to say they can't hear me sneeze, but bless me. Did you know?
Bless him regardless.
Did you know that where the term "bless you" came from in the Catholic religion?
To keep the demons from entering your body when you sneeze?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
You did know that. Well, now everybody else knows that.
All right. Well, today is, drum roll please, it is Wednesday, and all of you hip cats, all of you out there in the Student of the Gun audience, all of you grad program people and experienced listeners, you know what that means. That means it's SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk Day, and hit it.
Body make a man mad. Woman, physically fit, physically fit, physically fit. Woman, physically fit, physically fit, physically fit. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Mix your body out in the big Titanic. Woman, nice, sweet, energetic. Mix your body out in the big Titanic. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Mix your body out in the big Titanic. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Mix your body out in the
As I promised, I'm going to relate my experience from my first boxing match to you guys. And overall, the experience went pretty well. It was much more fun for me to do than traditional MMA for whatever reason. I think it was just because it was a brand new challenge for me. It was fun to overcome that challenge and to be able to do something that I've never done before. I was actually not as nervous this time as I was for any other fight that I've had, which is I don't know why. I really don't. Can you help me out here? I don't
know. Well, probably because you didn't have the pressure of the weight cut.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah, Jared, because he is a rockhead and he likes to do things the hard way. I don't know where he learned that, where he learned to do things the hard way. His manager and coach Dixon got him this fight because this is how it works. Promoters have holes in their events, and they contact coaches and managers and they say, "Hey, I've got a blank at a blank date. Do you have anyone?" And then the manager / coach looks at his stable of fighters and says, "Oh, how about this guy?" And they say, "Sure." Well, they contacted him. What was this, like 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, probably 3 weeks.
Yeah, and said, "Hey, we've got a hole in the schedule. We need somebody to fight heavyweight." That's right. Like Tyson was heavyweight. That kind of a hang. We need someone to box heavyweight against this dude who I don't know what his record was, but he's fought heavyweight
a couple times.
Yeah, several times. He actually defeated one of the guys from our gym like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And so John comes to Jared and says, "Hey, will you do it?" And Jared's like, "Yeah, sure." So what is the cutoff for heavyweight? 205?
206 is the beginning.
206 is the beginning
of heavyweight, and
it's 206 yeah.
265, yeah. That's how it is in MMA. I don't know if boxing is different. I'm assuming that they're pretty much the same. But I don't know if they have ultra heavyweight or whatever. But I weighed in at 215, and he weighed in at 257. So there was a little bit of a difference. But weigh-ins actually went well. I don't know if you guys know how this works, but weigh-ins are usually the day before the actual fight because
some people actually have to make weight.
Yeah, they have to cut weight, and then you have to rehydrate and resupply your body with fuel before you actually go to the fight. So traditionally, the weigh-ins are 24 hours before the actual fight. So I got there. Alex drove me over, or I drove. Actually, I drove this time. Wow, that was crazy.
Because you weren't in the backseat in a silver sauna suit.
Laying down. But we drove over. It was on last Wednesday, and we got into New Orleans right around 5 o'clock. And any of you that have been to New Orleans, the traffic sucked. It was just beginning to be bumper to bumper. So I was like, man, now we're going to be late for weigh-ins. But we got there at around 5:30 or so. And it was cool because the weigh-ins were scheduled for 6 o'clock. But by 6 p.m., all the fighters had showed up. Everybody had weighed in. So they were actually done before they even were supposed to start. The only
Which
thing
is crazy.
Yeah, that
never happens.
Insane. And the only thing we were waiting on was the doctor. So we sat there, waited about 30, 45 minutes for the doc. He showed up with his little blood pressure machine because they check all your vitals and stuff and make sure you're not going to like die.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And he set up his little blood pressure machine, put it around the first dude, hit the on button, and it went beep, 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 beep. And apparently that means there's a short in it, and or the batteries were dead. I don't know.
It was broken.
But anyway, it was broken. So
he didn't test his gear before he went to the field.
Yeah, he was like, usually the nurses do this. I don't ever touch this machine. I was like,
okay. All the nurses out there, I was like,
yeah. So we didn't get to do any of the vitals on Wednesday. The commission was just like, just do it tomorrow. We're not going to keep these fighters here waiting, which I really liked that.
Yeah,
because previously the commission didn't really care. They're like, I know these fighters have are starving and thirsty, but you're going to wait here for everything to get done. So they let him go. They let all of us go. They let us get food, and they actually gave us meal money, which was kind of cool. So we went and did our thing. Alex and I went and saw a movie on Thursday before the fights. Went and saw the new James Bond movie. It was actually pretty good. Showed up for the fights, and
You know he's an anti-gun puke face.
is he really?
Oh yeah, Daniel Craig. He's come out. He's a full-fledged English weenie.
How do you do James Bond and then be?
Because you're how can you be in a movie? How are you that? What's that scumbag left-wing piece of crap? Sean Penn. Yeah, how are you Sean Penn and you do a movie called The Gunman the year after you go public about how you deliberately gave up your gun collection to satisfy your new wife?
Oh wow, I didn't even.
He
I didn't
gave
know
up
that
his
part of it.
testicles too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we went and saw the movie, then we went to the fights, and got checked in, got everything. Everything was set up in one spot, and I was waiting on Coach and everybody to get there. Apparently, everybody else got New Orleans traffic as well, and it was funny because I got my hands wrapped, and I literally, as soon as my right hand, he wrapped my left hand first. As soon as my right hand got finished, he was like, "Hey, Jared Markle, it's your time." I was like, "Oh crap." I didn't even get to hit pads or listen to music and warm up or anything.
The first two fights ended in the first round.
Yeah.
By knockout.
Well, and I figured out what it was. Usually I'm used to people having amateur fights as well as professional, so all the amateurs always fight first, and then they move into the professional. So I've never been, as a professional, I don't think I've ever been the first or second or third fight on a card.
No, you never have.
But the boxing fight, it was every single one of them were professional, so that I didn't have to wait for amateurs to go. So I was the third fight on this one, and it was different because I wasn't used to that. And so I got my hands wrapped, and they're like, "Oh, Jared Markle." And so I went out there, and I was standing at the little line that they taped for me to stand and wait for my music to play. And he's like, "Oh, as soon as your music plays, you can go." And I was like in my head, "Man, I didn't even give the DJ music." And so I was like, "I don't know what he's going to play, so I'm not really sure what my cue is," because the music was playing already anyway. And so I did that, went up there. What did they play for me? What was the song?
Turned down to what?
Oh, Turned Down for What? Yeah, that's what it was. That's funny.
And I didn't know this. I thought that's the music that Jared had given him.
No, that's not really a pump-up song for me. It doesn't make me want to punch somebody. But
It makes a lot of people want to punch somebody.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, you funny GI. Keep going with your notes.
So I forgot about the ice and the glove. I was sitting there getting my hands wrapped. It was my right. He was doing my right hand, and I looked over to my left, and Dad was there at the little ice bucket, the fight bucket. He put ice in it, and he was filling a black glove with ice. And I specifically remember myself thinking, "Why is Dad putting ice in a glove?" And then inside my head, I was like, "He must know what he's doing. Jared, you need to focus." So I looked back and I was like, "Okay, just finished wrapping my hands, almost ready to go." And then I forgot about it until after the fight or during the fight. I think you handed me one at one of the points when I was in the corner sitting down. You handed me the glove, and I was like, "Oh, that's what that was for." It connected.
Do you know that I was icing down your neck and your chest in the ring with that glove?
Oh, that's what it was? See, this is what I told Coach that I had everything.
Because we didn't have the ice pack.
Yeah, I told Coach that and Dad that I had everything with me because I left a day early, and then they came over on Thursday. And I forgot the ice bag, so I didn't have everything.
He forgot the ice pack and towels. So we had to improvise. We actually got towels from the promoter, which was fine. But you didn't have a bottle. You didn't have an extra bottle of water. We didn't have. John kept dumping the water onto your mouth guard to rinse it out, and yeah. So yeah, I ended up using a black nitrile glove as an ice pack.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That was very innovative.
It's like
it's because America.
You don't remember me using the black.
I just remember feeling cold. I didn't know what it was. I was paying attention to what
John,
Dixon was telling me.
Yeah. You had a lot on your mind.
Yeah. Like a big red glove.
Big red glove.
Oh, and another thing, the boxing promoters, they provide you with gloves. So you have to wear their gloves. Where MMA, you bring your own gloves and they can approve.
Yeah,
them.
it just that's weird. It depends on what state. Like when you fought in Alabama MMA, you had to wear the promoter's gloves. They issued you gloves.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
But when you went to Louisiana, you used your gloves.
Yeah. I only had to use my gloves. I mean, their gloves once. It was only.
Well, no, both times you fought in
Was
Alabama.
it both for the same?
Yeah, both times you
promotion?
fought in Alabama, you had to use the gloves that were provided by the promotion. And and that's, you're like, why would they do that? Well, because there is a chance, though small, but there is a chance that people would cheat, and the gloves would be heavier than they should be, or harder than they should be, or whatever. And so they just make sure that everybody's even. It's like if you ever watch a UFC pre-event where they give them the gloves and then they walk up and the guy checks the gloves and he takes like a silver Sharpie and he initials them. That's what they do. The boxing commission officials, they check your hand wraps and they initial them, and then you put your gloves on and tape them up, and they check the tape on the gloves to make sure that's right, and then they initial those, and then you go. Because when you get to the ring, a good ref, the first thing he'll do is he'll look down at your gloves or your hands to see if they're taped, and then he'll look for that marker initialing signal, so that he knows that the officials checked it in the locker room, so that he doesn't have to check it in the ring.
And if you ever see a fighter hitting himself in the nuts before they get in the cage or the ring, it's because the ref asked them if they have their cup on.
Yeah, they say, you got your cup on? You got your mouth guard? And so they reach down and they punch themselves in the nuts, and then they smile real big so they can see they have their mouth guard. And not all mouth guards are created the same. But we're not going to give you that. If you want to know why all mouth guards are not created equal, you need to come to Fight You. We're not going to give you that one for free.
Well, I can't do that digitally anyway.
Yeah, that's right. I can't do that digitally anyway. So, all right. Don't forget. Tell them what they need to remember.
The SWAT Fuel promo code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember that. Oh, you want me to tell them what it is too? SOTG 2015. If you go to SWATfuelstore.com, you can save some money on your SWAT Fuel order. I recommend you need to get a good multivitamin, and SWAT Fuel has a good multivitamin. Include that in your daily diet. Start with the multivitamin. Start with the 40 cal, and then get that going in your daily diet, and then move up to the 9mm or the Plus P, and add that to your workout routine as well. So go to SWATfuelstore.com. Use promo code SOTG2015. Save yourself some money and get your body back on track.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. So here we are. And what is the theme for today? Well, we're back in Chicago, but where is Chicago? Well, Chicago is in Illinois. And Illinois also happens to be a slave state. But before we do that, we got to pay two more bills, or a couple more bills. And we don't want to neglect our fans. I was thinking yesterday, Jared, I'm just going to do an editorial. Am I allowed to do an editorial?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, I think it's still my show.
Is it still your show?
Yeah, when we did Monday's show, I realized that Monday's show contained as much material as 3 days worth of normal radio. If you listen to a broadcast show, you really only get, in an hour, you might get 28 to 30 minutes total of content. And the rest is top of the hour break, bottom of the hour break, middle break, 15-minute break, floating break, on the bottom of the hour, top of the hour, and then I've never been I'm sure that someone who's a professional broadcaster can explain to me why at like 10 minutes till you have to take a hard break, come back, talk for 2 or 3 minutes, and then break out again for the top of the hour. But because of all that, I was thinking that, Jared, when we finished Monday, I thought, whew, that would have taken me 3 days worth of broadcast radio to say all that.
Yep.
So you're welcome.
Oh, and real quick, I want to remind you guys, or tell you guys, that if you want to watch the video of my fight, of my boxing match, you can go to StudentGunRadio.com, click on episode 283, I believe that's this one, 284, this is 284. Click on that episode, and the video will be in there for you. And if you guys want to watch any of the older videos, you can go to my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/PTJared. And all of my fight stuff will be on that page.
All right. Brownells at brownells.com. Check out their emergency and survival gear section. Duracoat, where you want to get Duracoat products from? Well, you can get Duracoat products from Lauer Custom Weaponry, or you can go to brownells.com and buy them there. And last but certainly not least in this segment, Velocity Triggers. Superior quality and value. Is that correct, Jared? Did I say it right?
That is correct.
Velocity
I'm going to
Triggers.
remember that for the rest of my life.
VelocityTriggers.com was superior quality and value.
You know, it's funny. I think I'm pretty sure that I woke up the other night screaming superior quality and value. And Alex is like, what is going on?
What is he saying? Superior quality and value.
Sir.
Seriously.
Superior quality and value, sir.
All right. Let's talk about our friends up in the Communist People's Republic of Illinois. What do you say?
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see it's never shown.
Thank you to Puddle of Mud for Control, which is our Slave State News Update. And this comes to us, the source is Chicago Tribune, and I think I put Chicago Times in the show notes. Yes, I did. It's not the Times, it's the Trib, the Tribune. Get it right, Paul. This is check this out. Check this out. This is how you know whether or not your news media has a bias, right? Concealed carry shootings now a part of Chicago's gun reality. What? Concealed carry shootings now a part of Chicago's gun reality. They have a gun reality in Chicago now. In case you're wondering, you're like, the what? And the story is by Jeffrey Zazulowicz. Contact reporter. Not contract, but contact reporter. All right, it says, John Hendricks recalls a split second between impulse and action before he took aim and shot Everardo Custodio just before midnight on April 17th after Custodio opened fire on a group in Logan Square. Hendricks was not charged with the shooting of 23-year-old because he had a concealed carry gun license and was determined to have acted in self-defense. Okay, Hendricks was not, this is the real dealio. Hendricks was not charged because he acted in lawful self-defense. But in Chicago, it's really important to have a permission slip from the government, apparently. But he said he was questioned for hours by detectives after the shooting, and 7 months later hasn't gotten his Springfield Armory .45 back from authorities. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and tell Mr. Hendricks, don't hold your breath, and then you'll get to keep on living, because if you hold your breath waiting, you're going to die, because it's not going to happen. And even if a judge tells them to give it back, they'll forget where it was or whatever. They're crooks. I mean, let's face it, they're crooks in Chicago. Still, the 48-year-old Southsider said he doesn't begrudge police for the glacial movement. The glacial movement. This is all new, Hendricks said, because of the concealed carry. The 2013 passage of a concealed carry law in Illinois, the last state in the nation to approve one, has led to a relatively small yet recurring dynamic in Chicago shootings: the lawful gunman. Those with concealed carry licenses who use their weapons have rarely spoken out about their experience. But in a Tribune exclusive, Hendricks recounted the chaotic minutes before he shot Custodio. You know who Hendricks is? Hendricks is the Uber driver. Remember that, Jared? The Uber driver who, and this is before Uber came out and said that we frown upon our drivers carrying guns and we do not approve it. Hendricks is an Army veteran, Uber driver, scuba diver. He's an the Trib's putting in a tongue twister for me. It says he's an Army veteran, Uber driver, scuba diver. Are they playing with me? He's an Uber driver, and amateur photographer. Is amongst 136,000 Illinoisans who had concealed carry licenses as of November 3rd, according to the state police. How many times these Illinoisans unholstered their guns and fired remains unclear, as state police have no mechanism, or state police say no mechanism exists to track such incidents. Okay. So, what? There's no mechanism to track how many times that Illinoisans unholster and fire their guns? Yeah, there is. It's called an after-action report. What are you talking about? There's no method in place? It's called a police report, you morons. But I digress. Did you know that in Illinois there's no method to track how many concealed carry holders unholster and use their guns? Wow. We need to get on that. That's a problem that we need to address right now. Reginald Gildersleeve was shot dead last month by a concealed carry gun holder after Gildersleeve tried to rob a Gage Park corner store, police said. Thank you for not putting allegedly. When you walk in with a mask on, with a fake gun, pointed at people and say, give me all your money, that's not an alleged robbery. That is a robbery. A service member shot and wounded a gunman who pulled up on a group of people in West Pullman at a West Pullman party in July 14th. Later that month, a man attempted to help police foil an armed robbery at Southward Suburban Phone Store by firing at a fleeing suspect. Police officer had to duck for cover when the unidentified license holder fired at the suspect. None of these shooters was charged. Illinois law says firearms can be used in cases of imminent danger and defense of self and others. Wow, they discovered that in Illinois, it says that you can use a firearm in the defense of others when there is imminent danger. Wow.
That is surprising.
This is my shock face. Oh, wow.
What should we do? We should stop this.
We should be scared while political rhetoric continues to swirl around the issue. It does? Hendricks said he sees his concealed carry license as a right and a way to stay safe. Living in Chicago, it used to be don't go out at night and be more careful at night. He goes, it's turned into a place where it doesn't matter day or night.
You know, political rhetoric only continues to swirl because Chicago is a toilet bowl.
That's right. And you have the media, which keeps it swirling.
They're the water jets that go into the toilet bowl.
So there you go. So we have an entire article dedicated to the fact that, did you know that people in Chicago now have concealed carry permits and that they are shooting bad guys? This is long. This is a long story. It's way too long for radio.
I've heard that before.
Way too long for radio, huh? All right. Well, there you go. We thought you'd appreciate that. All right, moving right along, we have a report for you guys, and we need to deal with this subject because it is important. So, Jared, go ahead and bump me in, and we're going to talk about our frog friends over, not our seals, not the Navy SEALs, but the other frogs.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Oh, thank you, Tiny Tim. We came up with another suggestion for another suggestion for a Vagination Update theme from, who is it? Rammstein.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those of you who are hip to
we'll
Rammstein.
do that in the grad program.
But we can't do it in the public hour. Even when they do it in German, we can't do it. It's just too much. It's just too much for our family-friendly rating. But we might switch up the Vagination Report. So Who's our friend in Ohio that doesn't like it?
Oh, Kurt.
Kurt. That's right. I'm sorry.
He loves it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
his
right.
favorite.
Yeah, it's his favorite thing. Why do I have to be right all the time? Believe it or not, there are times when I would like to be wrong. I would like to be incorrect. I would like for countries like France to stop proving me right.
I don't think there are any other businesses like ours, because I'm pretty sure that we would love for the peaceful times to put us out of business.
That's right. It's like, when I was a cop, I was a bodyguard, and, it's like, I would love it if I lived in a world where we didn't need police officers or bodyguards or what have you. But we don't live in that world, and we never will live in that world. Well, on 11/18/2005, that's right, on November 18th, we posted an article on the studentofthegun.com blog. I hate the name blog, but I don't know what else to call it. But you cannot stand with France, but here's what you can do, was the title of it. So on November 19th, a day later, and you need to read the article, but a day later, this happens. France will accept 30,000 more Syrian refugees after Paris terror attack. Now, some douche nozzle from the internet jumped on there and said that this was a lie and that they never said that and it's not going to happen. Well, since this Truth in Media article broke, there's been a dozen other follow-up stories. And yeah, he did say that. France, November 19th, 2015. On Wednesday, French President François Hollande announced that France will still accept upwards of 30,000 Syrian terrorist supporters and terrorists, also known as refugees, over the next 2 years, despite the recent ISIS terror attack on Paris that's left 129 dead. Quote from Hollande: 30,000 refugees will be welcomed over the next 2 years. Our country, listen to this slimy socialist frog. Our country has the duty to respect this commitment. Apparently, when you are a socialist like François Hollande, the duty to protect your citizens is outweighed by the duty to allow Islamic terrorists and death cult members into your country. Folks, these Muslim outreach, these religion of peace outreach programs, they don't start in a vacuum. The people who are engaged in the death cult outreach program, before they do that, they live and exist and move around in their neighborhoods, in their culture, inside of the borders of France and every other place. Most of them live right there in the community. They're on the Muslim street, Jared. Have we heard about the Muslim street? Listen to this. Listen to another. These people are so weak. And if you wonder why Paul didn't change his Facebook picture to the French flag overlay, because they don't trust him.
They did help us, though. The American Revolution.
Oh, yeah, they did. And that's the last good thing they did.
Yep.
Thank you for the Statue of Liberty, and since then, you've done nothing. We have to reinforce our borders while remaining true to our values, says Hollande. Values, what is that? And he noted it is France's, quote, humanitarian duty to honor their commitments to the refugees.
What about their commitments to France?
What about your commitment to your nation, to protecting the people of your nation, the ones who were born there and actually pay taxes to your socialist regime? So these goat rapists, these death cult members that you're welcoming with open arms into your country, do they support the infrastructure of your nation? No, they're parasites. And yet,
real quick,
it's crazy.
If you are one of the people that changed your Facebook picture to the French flag overlay.
Change it back.
If you're not actually doing something that matters, take it off your stupid Facebook picture. Because last time I checked, a picture does nothing.
Let me give you a quote from the article, and this is right in the middle of it. And this is where France proved me right, and I really wish they didn't, but I know socialists, I know communists, I know progressives, and this is the way they are. It's quote from me. While progressive socialists are great at enslaving their people, they are woefully unprepared to deal with an outside threat. You see, in the mind of the statist, and that's what progressives are, the greatest threat is not a foreign enemy, but a free-thinking and independent populace. All of the statist focus is on maintaining their power base and keeping the peasant class under control. When the wolf arrives and begins to eat their sheep, the statist uses the only tool they know how to use, rhetoric and empty talk. And that is what we have. Yes, I know that France bombed a bunch of ISIS camps, and I know that the police were running down leads to try and capture, the remaining terrorists, blah, blah, blah. Here's the deal. It's going to keep the people of France distracted until the new Star Wars movie comes out, and then they'll be off to other things, and they'll just be waiting for the next attack.
And that quote was from the article that Dad wrote, You Cannot Stand with France. That wasn't from the article that we were referencing.
No, it was a quote from.
If you need to go read that article, go to studentthegun.com, click on the blog tab. It is the first article on the blog tab as of right now, as you hear this. It is the first one, so go read it while you can.
Okay. So you've got that. You have France proving once again that you cannot trust socialists to defend people. And then we have this. Check this crap out. From change.org. Change to what? I don't know. Just change. Just need to change. From change.org, EU, that's the European Union, an organization of leftists and socialists. Ew. Says you cannot stop terrorism by restricting legal gun ownership. Apparently, in the EU, it says on the morning of January 7th, that's change.org a left-wing organization or a right-wing organization?
I think
I'm pretty sure that they're...
I have no idea, but I know it's just a petition thingy.
Oh, that's all it is? Is it just a petition thingy?
Yeah, where you just go start a petition.
Oh.
I've seen this before, like all over the place.
It says, on the morning of blah, 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 blah. Essentially, what they're trying to do is, it says, say no to a draft proposal announced 18 November. Do not restrict semi-automatic firearms because they look automatic. Here's the deal. We, the citizens, demand that the EU bring focused on the real problems, blah, 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 blah. What we're trying to do is someone sent this to us and they said, we need to stand with European gun owners. What? I don't even know what to say. Stand with European gun owners? European gun owners own guns to play games and participate in sports. They're not, in Europe, firearms are not instruments of liberty because they don't have liberty because they're socialists. I don't understand.
If they had guns, could they have liberty?
Yeah. They could. Well, if they actually would carry them and use them.
So they need student of the gun.
They need student of the gun. The eunuch wants his testicles back, but it ain't happening. The eunuch wants his testicles back. So the European eunuch is asking for his testicles back.
The EU.
The EU. But it's not going to happen. Here's what Europe is, America. Europe is an excellent example of what happens when you allow yourself to be more concerned about fairness and equality. I want fairness. I want equality. You get socialism, and socialism is nothing more than communism in a new dress and lipstick. I'm sorry, Europe, but you are not equipped. I wrote it in the article.
So would you say that it is communism in drag?
Exactly. Socialism is simply communism in drag. Thank you very much, Sharon. So I don't know what to tell you guys in Europe, but you're screwed.
You know what?
You're screwed hard.
I'm
And
gonna
it's your
tell-
own fault for being so soft and reasonable.
You know what I'm going to tell you guys in Europe? To leave us a review on iTunes and Stitcher. If you use iTunes, leave us a review there. If you use Stitcher, leave us a review there. We like reviews. We like to hear from you guys.
We do. We actually do like to hear from you. You can
Especially
vent.
you guys that are in the grad program, go over to the Facebook page and say, I love you, Jared. That's all I want to hear.
All right, bump me out, buddy. Play me out, Johnny. That's it. Wow, this goes so fast. I know you're probably over there feeling all sad, but that's it. That's the end of the radio today. We've been giving you some bonus time here. I hope you do appreciate that. Don't worry, I'm not going to charge you any extra. Remember, you're a beginner once. You should be a student for life, and I am the pimp hand of America.